Good afternoon to all our attendees.
Good morning, the ones that are in the westward. And thank you for joining this meeting and the webinar. Today we're gonna talk about the HART protocol, HART Multiplexer. Just a few words. Please use your Q&A button for making your question to us. We'll try to answer later. We have some questions that we already collected in a different presentation, the second presentation that will follow this one. And if you have further things, just write on Q&A. Okay, Massimo, we're gonna start now with the presentation.
Yes, I think so.
First part is dedicated to GMI, so we're gonna just tell you a few things about us. Of course, I'm Andreas Porora. I'm a global account manager for GMI. I'm working since 2015, and I'm responsible for major accounts. I was responsible for European accounts, and Massimo is our product manager and also responsible for customer support. Massimo has a very long experience in applications, so he's of course every single day working on different applications, different questions from customers and testing the product with the different apparatus. And okay, a few words about GMI. So we are a company that produces intrinsically safe and certified devices for automation packages such as DCS, CSD, fire and gas, in the oil and gas market and petrochemical market and other markets, of course, where there is of course there are critical application, critical from the environment point of view and also from the hazardous point of view. We have a 40 experience, founded in 1993, and with the production that is based in Milan, Italy, but we have also presence all over the world in different continents. This is the offices. We have offices in the US, in Mexico, Italy, France, and the Middle East, India, China, Japan, and Singapore. Some numbers about the companies, let's say total staff, the courses that we organize, and also the number of installation. We have a complete traceability, full testing 100% for products, completely automatized the production, 5 years warranty for the products, and 10 years guarantee availability. Also about certification, we have all certification necessary in this market, of course, for European, American markets, for also Middle East, for in India, for Japan, China, Brazil, and so on. This is the product. So we produce intrinsically safe barriers, isolators, seal safety relays, isolators for non-hazardous applications, safety power supplies, multiplexer, termination board for all PLCs in the market, and HART Multiplexer, which is the part of today, not specifically the product, but the technology, of course, surge protections, a loop indicator, and also we provide function safety EX and cybersecurity courses and services. It's not a product, but of course it's a service. We provide the product to all system vendors, to APC, OEMs, and the user that you see in this table. But let's gonna start with with the topic of today, what is HART, and I leave Massimo the presentation for this part.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. And before understanding how our multiplex works, let's start by introducing the HART protocol topic. What is HART and why is widely used in the process industry? Well, developed in the middle of the 1980s by Rosemont, HART is an intelligent technology that supports the simultaneous transmission of analog and digital signals on the same pair of wires. HART is a protocol based on the question and answer mechanism designed to be compatible with traditional 4 to 20 milliamps analog channels. communication starts from the master to the slave. There can be up to 2 masters connected on each HART loop, while the slave are typically field devices such as sensor, actuators, and controllers that answer questions. The application that exploit this technology allow remote interrogation of process variables, cyclical access to data, calibration, access to operating parameter, and instrument diagnosis. Devices with the HART type communication superimpose an electrical signal on the analog signal, with which they can be monitored and programmed depending on the manufacturer and the interface system. Next. But what are the advantages that HART brings to the world and industrial process? HART is a secure, robust, and reliable communication standard. Through a simple configuration, it's possible to obtain and collect a wide range of new process data in order to increase the remote diagnostic capability of the system and monitoring of the single device, together with the reliability of the signal and the absence of interferences. In the new generation of HART devices, especially with the multivariable devices, access to data is easier. This makes it possible to simplify the remote configuration, commissioning, and integration in the control system of the devices. In order to integrate the measurement provided by HART devices into a control system, it's possible to implement a point-to-point connection of the 420 milliamp signal or a connection via remote I/O modules or HART multiplexer. Andrea, next slide, please. The HART protocol represents an intermediate step in the transition from analog to digital communication. The HART multiplexer is the best solution for gathering all HART data into a single point or software. GMI HART Multiplexer collects all HART information of devices connected and transmit data to a PC where an HART management software is installed. The communication takes place through an RS-485 serial communication. This simple connection is made through a dedicated termination board where also the multiplexer modem is installed. GMI International is particularly open to HART communication, starting with the multiplexer model 5700, an HART seal-free interface system that reduced the number of modules required for the application, thanks to the management of up to 256 channels per car with communication speed up to over 100,000 bits per second. The HART protocol is also fully supported by custom termination board and by series of intrinsic safety barriers and galvanic isolators, which GMI has in its portfolio. Next, the use of an HART multiplexer offer different advantages, and it's necessary when the PLC or DCS does not integrate the HART multiplexer. The HART multiplexer can be integrated in an existing system where transmitters HART are connected. It supports the management of different standards from different manufacturers, also mix and through the board interfaces, the signals are collected and transmitted to a PC to be supervised. Thousands of signals can be managed in a single network, allowing a real-time communication of all connected equipment. While the field HART sensor constantly transmits its analog measurement, the control unit can read and modify the local sensor setting. For example, the measuring range, the HART, overlapping the 420 milliamp signal and without interfering with it. The HART multiplexer is a device that is used to connect HART field devices to asset management system. Next slide, Andrea. HART multiplexer enables maintenance console and HART field devices protocol. The HART multiplexer acts as a gateway, routing communication between maintenance PC workstation and HART field devices. It carries each HART device, retrieve the information and store it in an internal database. This information is then available for the device management tool, for example, Packware or other devices or other software, being a simple loop solution. The HART loop converts all of access to all process variables provided by a field device and transfer them to a conventional 420 milliampere loop. This makes it possible to use the hidden measurement data detected by many field devices and to transfer it to conventional DCS, distributed control system. Well, Andrea, I leave you for the second part of our presentation.
Okay, thank you, Massimo. So now the second part is dedicated to the GMI HART solution. And as Massimo introduced, we have a HART Multiplexer is a SIL 3 certified. So is most important thing is it's not interfering. That's why it's a SIL 3 certified. It's not interfering with the safety loop. So you can interpose in the safety loop, and in case of failure, of course, it's not really interfering. Each multiplexer can manage up to 256 channels. So it's let's say in use in the market, it's challenging in the market because the other do not support the market such numbers. So they need one multiplex every 32 channels. So we can have a network that can be extended to 63 HART multiplexer, and for a total of more than 16,000 channels. So reduce completely the complexity, less wires, less cables, and you can expand the system anytime. And it is a really interesting solution from our point of view, of course. We can have different boards, as you can see. So you can have a board where you have isolators, or intrinsically safe isolators, or standard isolator, this one, where there are the black connector for connecting the HART multiplexer. So in case you use this solution, you can easily use this kind of board where you have the connector, you via flats, you can connect with the isolators part. So you can have more than one termination board with the isolators connected to the termination board where the HART multiplex is hosted. While you can have also this kind of board, which is the one you have seen for the first in the first slides, where you have just the connection input-output connection for the loops. That is also a solution that is applicable for the, and here in this middle space, you can install the HART multiplex. And so we have some example here how you can connect it. You see solution where you have the HART multiplexer in the first board connected to the other termination board where the isolator IS or non-IS isolator are installed. And then you have more termination board connected with up to 4, okay? You see that only one multiplexer is necessary because each one can manage 256 channels. So the other modules are connecting the termination boards without HART multiplex. This is node 1. You can have more than node the one, of course, up to 63 nodes with the same, let's say, architecture. That's why you can use, let's say, collect 16,000 channels. Of course, we talk about HART protocol, which is slow. So in this case, also the speed is affected. But from the theoretical point of view, you can extend at a really high number the HART communication. Here there is another architecture where you don't have isolator, but you just have input-output connection. Okay, so you just cut the, would say, the loop from the transmitter to the system, and you have the, as in this case, one multiplexer and other boards connected without the multiplex. Okay, so the same network can be extended up to 63 nodes difference. And then you have also can have let's say a mixed of the previous ones, where you have isolators, direct connection, different boards, but of course from the system point of view doesn't change. The HART is always collected to the HART management software. So just to give you a recap, you have a solution one where you have transmitters connected, and of course in the termination board where you have input output for the signal. Here the same, but they use the intrinsically safe isolators, so you can have this kind of a connection without termination board for this part. Solution 3 is with non-IS isolators connected to the same modules without specific termination board for the isolators, or the same 2 and 3 that became 4 and 5th, 4th and 5th, where you have the termination board. And in this case, the termination boards for the HART multiplex is, you see, is different because the connector allow the connection to the termination board where the isolator are installed. So you may see that we have a different typology of architecture. Well, now we have a poll. So let me yes, launch this poll. See if you wanna just to, let's say, refresh yourself. Hope you are still there, and maybe you can answer to this simple question. So what is the solution that you are mainly interested, like non-IS signal interfacing, IS signal interfacing with isolators, all? So let's have let's say an idea of what is your main interest. Thank you very much for answering. We'll leave a few seconds more for answer, and then we come back to the presentation. Are there questions, Massimo, or not?
No, at the moment, no.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. And maybe another few seconds if you want to answer, and then we stop the poll. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let me stop it now. I want to share with you the result. So the result here, you can see that you have most of you, of course, interested in all solutions. That I understand, because the application are so different from, and you can have IS, non-IS part with isolator, without. So we understand perfectly thank you again for answering. Okay, so let me close this part. We go to the next slides, where we have, of course, the other topic, which is the application for any PLC and DCS. You may see how you can interface the HART multiplexer to the systems. Okay, Massimo, it's your part, I guess, now.
Yes, grazie. Thank you, Andrea. The solution proposed by Andrea up to now, covered by our HART multiplexer system, and being designed to satisfy all possible field conditions, from the implementation of HART in existing system, or to the insertion of the HART system in a new installation where barriers, isolators are foreseen on board the termination unit. GMI's HART system is very flexible and adapt to all field needs. In fact, thanks to the termination board with the removable terminals on board, or thanks to the flat cable solution, which allow us connection to the system termination board with barriers or galvanic isolator on board, it's possible to intercept any type of a new installation or installation that require revamping of an old system, incorporating the qualities of HART communication. Further proof of this is also the existence of special HART termination board which convert the 420 milliamp signal into a 1.5 volt signal. But let's now analyze how the HART multiplexer system works in a safety loop. The first solution is the one that provides for the connection of the field sensors directly to the PLC through a termination board which allows the hardwire type connection on which HART modem is mounted. In order for the loop to work correctly, the PLC or DCS with its analog card must insert an impedance of at least 250 ohm in the loop itself. This is one of the fundamental hardware requirements to obtain full compatibility with the HART protocol. In the event that the PLC card does not have the technical requirements to be HART compatible, the GMI termination boards come in handy by adding impedance to the loop until their correct impedance level is reached. In the GMI portfolio, there are several models of termination boards able to add the impedance to each single HART channel in order to make each single loop compatible. Furthermore, it must be said that the termination board does not interfere in any way with the measurement of the 420 milliamp signal by the PLC. In fact, the entire HART multiplexer GMI system is seal-free certified. Well, the second solution involves the integration of the GMI HART system in application where intrinsic safety is involved. In this case, the HART moves via special termination board equipped with special flat type connector connects perfectly to the system termination board designed to be compatible with the PLC or safety system they have to work with, where they can be the intrinsic safe barrier are housed for the management of the sensor positioning in the hazardous area. GMI's intrinsic safety barrier are transparent to the HART signal without filtering it. This allows separating the dangerous area from the safe area, making sure that the HART signal arrives directly at the multiplexer located in the control room for management of the sensor. A third solution is the one that involves the use of galvanic isolator and is very similar to the previous one. Only that in this case, we are going to manage non-intrinsically safe application. As can be seen from the slide, the galvanic isolators provide for electrically isolating the sensor in the field from the control room, letting the HART signal pass without filtering it, so as to make it immediately available to the HART multiplexer system for the relative acquisition of the field data. Well, next, what are the basic requirements to get an HART loop working properly? Well, first, you need to know the type of HART sensor that will work in the field. The GMI HART multiplexer is compatible with R7 and previous version. This allows it to have wide compatibility with all types of HART field devices. Then it will be necessary to know the PLC or DCS card with which the multiplexer we have to interface. This for a matter of HART compatibility related to the minimum impedance required by this protocol for each single loop to work correctly. And last but not least, knowing which software will be able to manage the R signal coming from the multiplexer. This software is the one who will have to solve all the data acquisition and management work. Therefore, it must be completely compatible with the whole system. The GMI multiplexer system has broad compatibility with the most common AMS on the market. Let's take a quick look at what a cabling involved in an HART multiplexer system will look like. Each field sensor will be connected to a barrier if it's an intrinsically safe loop, or an isolator if the application requires electrical isolation. The outputs of these devices will be wired to the input terminals of the HART termination board, which will let the 420 milliamp signal pass for reading by the safety system. In this application, each connection will be hardwired. The same intrinsically safe or non-intrinsically safe solution can be implemented using system termination board. If we have in our application a large number of I/O loops, it will be possible to use termination board to house the device that must provide field isolation towards the safety system. We are, of course, talking about our intrinsically safe barriers or our galvanic isolator. This solution allows us to save a lot in terms of cabling and system integration. In fact, inserting into the system termination board loop towards the PLC system, we will have the great advantages of being able to use a special cable that allows us to considerably reduce the connection to be made. With this type of connection, we will use a special termination board for the R system, which in turn connect with the system termination board through flat cables that can manage up to 64 channels per board. Well, Andrea, I leave you the comparison between the different HART solutions.
Yeah, the market, how it is. So we don't see any question from you, which is good and not good, of course. Hope everything is clear. So we try to say, if you have any questions, just write us, of course. Market comparison. The market is very different, of course, from what we have seen now. We are, of course, other makers, producers like MTR, Pepper and Fuchs offer a similar solution, but the main difference is that, as we have said that each multiplexer can manage 256 channels. So instead of using, say, 8 from other manufacturers, you just use 1. Okay, from the other point, of course, the other problem or solution that you encounter is, of course, that the refresh time for the HART signal is of course lower because you have much more signal to be read. Let's say that more or less the refresh time for this protocol is around 500 milliseconds per signal. That is, of course, the solution we are offering. And now we have the software. Maybe it's interesting also for you to know something about the software. Massimo, is your turn again.
Yes, yes. As regards the software that manage the HART functions, the GMI HART Multiplexer is compatible with all FDT-based software, such as Packware version 4.1 and 5.0, and also has wide compatibility with the most used AMS software. Furthermore, our research and development department works constantly to obtain compatibility with all the functions provided by this management software. An example is the compatibility with Emerson AMS, for which a special version of HART modem has been developed. This special version allows our HART multiplexer system to be fully compatible with this management system. Through this software, it's possible to completely manage the diagnostic of the sensor in the field and also the configuration of the sensor themselves. Furthermore, this software allows the reading of the sub-variables of the sensor, which allows to verify the perfect functioning of the sensor as well as of the loop. Well, Andrea, I think we can skip.
Just a few words about software, because
okay.
Of course it's a challenging situation, because
yes.
sometimes you are applying the multiplexer with a certain PLC, but you are expecting that these PLC makers is providing also the HART management software, but which is not true sometimes, because maybe in the system, in the application, there are more PLCs, and maybe the software is different from the one you are expecting. So, of course, we have recently we got a certification from Emerson for the AMS, and the PRM from Yokogawa, the PRM, and the other are coming. But please verify anytime what kind of software you are connecting with. Okay, Massimo, we have a question. Probably is something you can answer.
Yes, Andrea. So analog signal of each device is not multiplexed to the host.
Why not?
Ordinary.
Yeah, of course, no.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything, all signal is multiplexed to the host. So is if you connect it to the HART multiplexer, that it will be, let's say, multiplexed and read it and transferred to the software to be read. So this is, of course, not a limitation. Okay, let me go further. So we have another. So you can answer to this just a few. So very important for us to know what kind of software you are using or you experience with. See if it's Packware. Packware is very, very common because it's also free.
Yes, free.
It's freeware, but we see that Emerson is very important also in the market, because probably it was the first one. Then there is, of course, Field Device Manager from Honeywell, FieldMate Yokogawa, Ability ABB, or other. So, okay, thank you for your answer. We see a few further answer to that. No more. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answer. Let me share with you. So AMS is the most important that we were expecting. Now we are compliant. We have a specific HART multiplexer, which is standard, which is compliant with the AMS.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna finish this part. So with, of course, in our website, you find everything about what we have seen till now. Thank you, but we want to move to the next one, next presentation, which is, let's say, is dedicated to the question and answer. Okay, so we have some question here. You made it during your registration part, so some of you already wrote us. Massimo, just to cross-check, can you you see?
Yes, but we have no question for now.
But can you see the presentation just to cross check?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Okay.
Okay,
You can do
great.
it.
So, question: do all isolators support HART protocol transmission? This is tricky. Please follow this answer from Massimo.
Yes, and not all isolators or barrier for intrinsically safe application are compatible with the HART protocol. For a device to pass the HART signal to the control system must have well-defined technical characteristics. Many devices filter the HART signal and do not let it pass through the system. For this reason, it's necessary to select isolating device or barrier that not interfere with the HART signal by placing filters.
Great. So this is very, very important because when you choose an hardware, you have to check if you want to use a HART, you have to check these features. It is mostly, I would say, process feature than factory automation features. Okay, so next question is the HART protocol supported only by 2-wire transmitter, also for the 3-4-wire transmitter? So the difference between 2-wire and 3-4 wires, hope you know that is there are transmitters that are powered through the 2 wires and the other transmitter that are have a separate power supply. So the question is, HART protocol is supported by different 2 and 3-4 wire transmitters.
Yes, Andrea, the HART signal works with all types of sensor, passive 2-wire or 3-4 wires powered from external sources. Even the isolation devices such as barrier or isolators must provide for the possibility of working with the HART signal, both on the active channel of the device. This means on the channel used to power the field sensor in case of 2-wire passive sensor. And on the passive channel of the barrier or isolator, this means on the channel that receive the signal coming from 3 or 3-4 wire type sensor powered by an external source. In the GMI portfolio, we have devices suitable for all solutions, as shown by the current slide, where we can handle the HART signal for all types of sensor. In the next slide, this is applied for both to intrinsically safe device and to galvanic isolator, which provide for the electrical isolation of the field from the control room.
Yes. So the previous slide was all the isolators supported the HART protocol. The answer is not. And once you find the isolator that supported, the HART protocol, please make sure that is referring to this real sensor technology you are working with, because probably if you have a 4-wire transmitters and the isolator support only the HART through the 2-wire transmitter, so it's quite tricky. Take care and let's say look at let's say carefully at the installation manual to find this information. We have a question, Massimo.
Okay, can it also be used for fire and gas detector? Yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
I don't see any problem for this.
Okay, great. So let's go to the next question. Is duplication of HART signal?
Yes, we talk about a duplication of splitter. Also with regard to devices used for signal redundancy, such as signal duplicators or splitter, it's possible to obtain compatibility with the HART protocol. GMI offers solution that allow splitting the HART signal to both outputs of duplicator. GMI has developed devices that duplicate the 420 BDM signal as well as the HART signal. These devices are particularly useful in applications where system redundancy is required.
So yeah, the application is a system redundancy. You want to transmit the HART from your transmitter to both systems, to both inputs of your system. And but make sure that if you want to use HART, that the HART is on the both loops retransmitted. Sometimes that is not applicable, that is not possible, but in some case, of course. Please also in this case, what we want to say to you is look at the instruction manual of the device you are using.
Okay.
Okay, great.
The next question, Andrea, is for you. And how many multiplexers do I need?
Okay, great. So we have already explained a little bit, but this give you much more, let's say for sometimes a picture much more better than a lot of words. So if you look at you have 32 channels here, and if you use a HART GMI, use one multiplexer, and termination board is one. If you use a 64, if you have 64 channels, is always one. Looking at the other solution, the market, you have to use more HART multiplexer in master or slave. They can be master or slave, of course, but use more hardware solution, more HART multiplexer with the increasing number of signals. So up to 256, you see just one multiplexer, more boards. In the market, you have one multiplexer master, 15 slaves, and 4 boards. So hardware-wise, of course, is interesting GMI solution.
Okay, another typical question is regarding the typical solution example that we can give to our attendees.
Okay, great. Here, so it's for when you have input-output signal. Okay, it's very simple. So you use for 64 channel, you just use one multiplexer, 2 termination board. This is the solution you see here. So 64, each termination board is for 32 channels, 32, one multiplexer, one cable connected to the system. And input and output signal are connected here.
And one cable that connects the 2 terminator boards.
Yeah, and there's split cable that is connected to 2 boards. If you have 128 signals, so the double that you see here, you will always use one multiplexer, 4 termination board, okay, and 3 connection cable, but just extended with other 2 termination board, and that's all. If you have 256 channels, you have one multiplexer, 8 termination boards, and 7 connection cable between boards. So hardware, one multiplexer for all signals, different termination boards for connecting the HART signal. Here you have, of course, this is a solution for IS and non-IS, okay? With the isolators. The isolators is a little bit more complicated, see, hardware-wise, because you need a different termination board, so you need the termination board for the isolators. But that is those are the example of what you need from, let's say, GMI. Okay, next question is, I think it's yours, Massimo, probably how fast HART is.
Yes, Andrea, we can say that HART is certainly not known for being a fast data acquisition protocol, as it typically has to handle a large amount of data and variables. However, it leads to considerable advantages in terms of more than 20 years of experience for this proven technology, complete range of HART instruments available on the market, advances, diagnostic and multivariable smart device, simple commission and device management, and simple integration into control system, but it's not
fast.
It's not fast.
Not fast. Indeed, the question from one attendee is an architecture with multiple slaves, 256 instruments, as in the previous slides, which would be the expected scan rate of the whole group of instruments. So, well, the scan rate, Massimo, it's, I would say 256 by 2, divided by 2 is, so it's 128 seconds, probably.
Yes, probably.
It's 2 minutes, a little bit more than 2 minutes. This is the scan rate.
Depend from the architecture of the system.
Also, if you use one multiplexer, of course, if you want to reduce this time, you just increase the number of multiplexers. Okay. What we can give to from GMI is a solution that reduces the cost for the HART. Okay, but if you want to increase or reduce the scan rate, you just increase the number of multiplexers. So use 2 multiplexer, you reduce by 2 the scan rate, or use 4, use by 4, okay, the scan rate. So you can be, we can be more flexible from this point of view. On the other, let's say, on the other side, that we say that the HART management is managed by separate PC, which is not really connected to the safety loops. Is something just for supervisors. So refresh time sometimes is not so important. So it's a balance between cost and refresh or scan rate time you wanna have. Hope we answered to your question. Yeah. Massimo, do you have any?
No, I have no to add.
Okay. Okay, great. So what is the next one? Compatibility with different field devices.
Yes, yes, Andrea. GMI's HART Multiplexer managed device for are compatible analog input and analog output application up to revision 7. Through HART, it's possible to carry different type of field devices that can provide information related to the first variable, which typically can be a pressure or temperature, or to sub-variables such as a current or other information related to the field device. The GMI system and device for the HART solution are able to interface with this type of sensor, supplying them with power or separating them from the control room, while allowing the HART signal to transit towards the multiplexer system, allowing the acquisition of the data from these devices. Furthermore, in conclusion, it's good to remember that the total compatibility of our system towards the different types of PLC or DCS on the market with our customized solution, and the continuous research of compatibility and development towards the most used management software.
Okay, great. Yes, just to come back from the 2-wire, 4-wire transmitter, 3-wire transmitter. Here you can have a different type. Basically, temperature 2 wires. It is not maybe because there is a display must be powered, so maybe these are 4 wires. Gas transmitter are definitely the 4 wires. Lever probably can be also 2 wires. TS also 2 wires. Pressure can be 2 wires depending on typology or 4 wires. So there are different, but anyhow, you know that we can have, or you can have this say possibility and challenging solution in the market. So you may choose different isolator to connect it with. Okay, thank you. I think we finish. Maybe the closing part, Massimo. Yeah. We arrived to the end. Don't know if there are further questions, but we want to remind you that you can let's say, attend to other, of course, webinars, just look at our webpage, and you can, let's say, register yourself for the next ones. Can be the topic, can be technology, can be also cybersecurity, can be SEAL, functional safety, can be EX application. Also, we have a dedicated for the EX applications. We have a different group of person that can, let's say, attend and can say present these webinars. This webinar has been recorded and will be available soon on our webpage, on our YouTube channel. So you can find the link on the page where you register yourself. You can also find all the other webinars. So if you want to have a look, just you have time, of course, you can look and let's say watch all the other webinars we did in these years. Last poll, how we did, if it was good, yes, but feel free to say what you want, and because it's anonymous, and of course it's very important for us for improving our, I would say, way to present, way to introduce, and so on. Thank you for answering, and we try to, of course, do our best. If you want to also, if you are requiring further, maybe different arguments, just ask us. Maybe our marketing will try to organize different things. Thank you for your answer. It was so good, in better than expecting. Thank you. We want to stop this one now, and we don't share. Just say that we are here. So Andrea, Massimo, Andrea, if you want to write us, just say write your question to us, and we try to answer as soon as possible. Thank you, and thank you for anything. Thank you, Massimo.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you to all our attendees, and see you to the next webinar.
We see to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Ciao.